Nope, not yet. Alright, let's run it back. I think I'm gonna have to. There we go. There we go. Alright, here we go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deadly Duo Chronicles podcast. I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Heather.
And on this week's murder menu is...
Danny Rolling, the Gainesville Ripper. But first, some trigger warnings.
Some good old trigger warnings.
Rape, murder, necrophilia, graphic language.
Viewer discretion is advised. That's definitely not what that says, but alrighty then. We'll go with it. The Gainesville Ripper, Daniel Harold Rolling. Okay, so Daniel Harold Rolling, born May 26, 1954 in Shreveport, Louisiana, to his mother Claudia and father James Rolling, who was a Shreveport police officer. Can't talk tonight. Danny's father was a very cruel, evil, abusive man who was completely disgusted by Danny's existence, often telling Danny he was an accident that was never supposed to happen. Well, you should have clearly ran down your dad's leg then. Saved everybody the trouble.
And we're starting off strong.
Who looks at a kid and says, oh, you're an accident that was never supposed to happen? Well, you should have ran down your dad's leg and saved everybody the trouble.
Danny is the oldest. He had a little brother. Danny's mother would often take the boys and run away, but would find herself going back to Danny's father. Typical domestic violence situation.
Yeah.
Danny's mother suffered from mental health issues.
Being married to a narcissistic, over-ego, small dick complex douchebag like that, I would have mental health issues too.
Right. And this isn't even the guy that we're talking about yet.
No, this is just the guy who helped create the monster that we're going to talk about.
This is just the sperm donor.
Or lack thereof. Danny, as a young boy, would often escape to the woods or often walk the neighborhood, peeping into others' windows. So he would go and peep into random people's windows to watch families eat dinner. They say that's kind of where the resentment started, because he didn't have that family dynamic at his own house. And that he would eventually evolve into peeping Tom. So he would start peeping into young women's windows and watching them undress, which turned into a sexual desire of his. Danny was caught several times and was once again labeled a peeping Tom. I feel like, I don't want to blame females, but I feel like women back then didn't really know what shut your curtain and get changed meant.
Right.
I mean, does that really justify him peeping into their windows? No. But, I mean, what else did they expect?
Right. I mean, there's such thing as curtains. I mean...
Shit, I don't even care.
But we, I
don't even care. I'm pretty sure my neighbors have seen me walk behind, in a town, just walking by my back door. So I can't judge them at all because, I never pay attention either. So
we had a next door neighbor that would get undressed in the house with the front door wide open.
You're talking about good old Sandy Bear.
We'd be walking by and I'd look at Kenny and I'd be like, don't look over that way because you'll see Sandy's chi-chis.
I think half of Lancaster has seen her chi-chis. Half of everywhere has seen Sandy's chi-chis. Hell, the police department's probably seen Sandy's chi-chis. She was not a stranger to that.
She was not shy.
Right, but I guess at 13, when you're evolving into a adolescent, you're watching real life happen. I guess from what the documentary, well, not documentary, but one of the podcasts that I read said it kind of molded his desire for watching and stalking people.
Right.
Because that's what he did. He watched them and then he stalked them. Basically fantasized in real life and not behind closed doors.
In 1971, at the age of 16, Daniel was already an alcoholic and drinking heavily, which led to a fight with his father and landed him in jail for 2 weeks. After that, Rowling dropped out of school and enlisted in the Air Force to escape his home life. So that's a good thing.
You would think, because, you would think, oh, okay, he's had the final straw with, like, the family dynamic. He's ready to move on and get a better life. You would think.
Yeah, that's not how the story goes.
It's not a happy ever after situation.
This is definitely not a fairy tale, as well as ends well episode.
I mean, it ends well.
Well,
he gets what he deserves, but I mean, it's not a fairy tale.
During Daniel's first time in the Air Force. Wow, I am struggling. During Daniel's time in the Air Force, he thrived, but sadly his drinking problem led to substance abuse problems that caused him to be early discharged. After serving a year in the Air Force and being discharged.
Yeah, so basically he couldn't give up the drinking. And then that purposely led into more drugs. So Danny ended up going back to Shreveport, where he attempted to turn his life around. He started attending church and getting right with God, where he would meet a woman and instantly fall in love. And in 1974, at the young age of 20, Danny would marry Martha. I don't even know how to say her name. And then they would quickly end up having a daughter, bringing a daughter into the world. Even though Danny tried to turn his life around, he couldn't seem to put the alcohol down, and his wife, just after 3 years, would file for divorce in 1977. So his first real rejection would have been his wife.
Yeah.
Because she's the one who filed for divorce. So she was the one who basically rejected him in the end.
In between that time, Danny would go on to steal his dad's gun and go on a spree committing armed robbery across Mississippi, Georgia, and Alabama before getting caught and arrested. Yeah, he kept robbing the same... If I remember correctly, he kept robbing the same stores.
Well, see, he started out with petty theft, to be honest. Like petty crime, little crime, here and there. I mean, armed robbery is not little, but it's not as bad as what he eventually gets into.
Right.
He just couldn't seem to get his life straight for anything. And, him going to church and trying to get right with God, you would think he would have been able to, but he couldn't escape the monster. On November 4th, 1989, in Shreveport, Louisiana, I don't know where the hell that came from, Louisiana, Danny broke into the home of 55-year-old Tom Grissom, where he murdered his 24-year-old daughter, Julie, and his 8-year-old grandson, Sean, and Tom. Afterwards, Julie's body was mutilated, beaten, and post-mortem. So they say that this is like the first murder. They just couldn't connect Danny to it till after all the other sprees. Once again, he manages to do a bunch of robberies and escape.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about police officers and being able to evade arrest, but they do a pretty good job.
August 24th, 1990, in Gainesville, Florida, he broke into an apartment. He broke into the apartment of Sonja Larson.
Sonia.
How in the hell did I misread that?
The J is silent. Look at me being all little Miss Smarty Pants.
It's going to be a long night.
Oh, I have no doubt about that.
Sonia Larson and Christina Powell, freshmen at the University of Florida. He stabbed 18-year-old Sonia repeatedly in the chest, and then he engaged in necrophilia with her corpse, and then raped and stabbed Christina 5 times in the back.
So, interesting fact. He saved Christina for last. So when he broke into their apartment, Christina was asleep on the couch. He walked past Christina and went upstairs to Sonia. Here, look at me picking up your bad habit. Sonia, and basically murdered her first and then come back downstairs and murder Christina.
So, I wonder, was Christina the intended victim then?
I don't know. I know they were all very petite, young, brunettes, brown eyes, very beautiful. Like, he had a victim type. But my thing is how the hell did he get from peeping in windows to murdering to then doing sexual acts with a dead body?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Curiosity, like, sometimes I just kind of just want to look at him and be like, what the was going through your mind when you decided to insert your foreign object into another foreign object that was no longer beating? Had to be a heartbeat. Like, what was the purpose in that? Like, what did you gain from that?
I have never heard it described like that.
I wasn't trying to go into more detail. I guess I could have said his penis into her vagina that was no longer had a pulse, but like, it just doesn't.
We're laughing in the wrong parts here.
I know, but like, I don't know. I'm not understanding how we got to that point. Because literally, like, nowhere does it say.
It was definitely a jump.
Yeah, and nowhere does it say, does he say why he got his rocks off doing that? Like how we got there. Like, I don't understand how we got to that point.
Yeah, because there was a jump with, like, no...
Victimology stayed the same, but, like...
Well, he went from robbery to murder and necrophilia in,
I think there was always a part of him that little kid, when he was a little kid, his dad, took the dominant role and...
Yeah, but you can take you can take a dominant role while the person's still alive.
Yeah, but I mean, in all honesty, it's easier to deal with a woman when she's either asleep or not breathing.
Yeah, but is it really dominating if they can't fight back?
I didn't say dominating. I said easy to deal with.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I wouldn't want to be a man having to deal with a female on the day-to-day basis because I know how crazy I am. I better stay away. But I don't know how we got to that jump. That's what I'm saying.
We're all over the place.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I just don't know how we got to that jump.
Yeah.
But On August 24th, 1990, in Gainesville, Florida, he broke into the... Oh, nope, you already read the part. Yeah, we're all over the place today. On August 25th, he broke into the apartment of Krista Hoyt, 18, where he tied her up, raped her, stabbed her so violently in the heart that it ruptured. He then cut off her nipples for trophies, then cut off her head, set it on a bookshelf facing her body.
What the fuck?
Now, at this point, he's just...
At this point, he's just being demonic.
I mean, I feel like he's trying to make art out of it. I surely hope she was dead when he cut off her nipples, though.
Oh.
Why the nipples?
I don't know.
That nipples are not that cute to look at. Why the fuck would you want to keep them as trophies?
I mean, I've heard of them cutting off people's clits, so...
Well, those definitely ain't pretty. They look like... Never
So
mind. They don't look pretty at all. Like, I don't know.
So, I mean...
Yeah, but
I guess the nipples would be easier to cut off, maybe?
Nah, her tongue. Or, well, no, if she's already dead. I don't know. It's sick fuck, but it just, at this point, he had time to decapitate her, put her head on the shelf, and facing her body.
I mean, as many necrophiles as we have talked about, you would think we would be used to some of the shit that they do, but it just gets worse.
It does, and it pisses me off, but at the same time, it kind of intrigues me a little bit. Because how the hell do we get from a live body to a dead body? Where do you... Okay, I shouldn't say it intrigues me, because then that just makes me sound sick. It just... It interests me a little bit. I don't know. It just... It makes me want to be like, how the hell do we get to this point? Like, what in your mind? And then the nipples, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Why nipples?
I mean, why kill her in the first place? But, I mean, why nipples?
Yeah.
And then to cut her head off. At this point, he's just belittling them.
Yeah, he's just mutilating them for no reason.
He's just getting a kick out of it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Getting his rocks off in more ways than one, apparently. Yeah, you definitely got what you deserved there, Mr. Daniel.
On August 27th, he broke into the apartment of Tracy Powell's.
Yeah. Poles or pals, yeah.
And killed Manuel.
I don't even know.
Manuel, he was 23. He stabbed him repeatedly in the chest and arms, hands and legs, and face as well.
So he was pretty violent with him.
He was.
But from what I understand, there was a pretty good tussle before. Like, Emmanuel put up a pretty good fight before.
And this is the first man that he's...
No, it would be the second. The first man he killed was 55-year-old Tom Grissom.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But this guy is pretty much the same, and a little bit younger, I would say, I think younger than him. So, like, he was able to give him a run for his money. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then he killed Tracy Powell's 23. He raped her and then stabbed her 3 times in the back and cut off her nipples. Bro, what is it with him and nipples?
I have no idea.
And placed them beside her.
Yeah, he didn't keep these ones. He placed them beside her.
What is with the
nipples? I have no idea what... Maybe... Tell me you have mommy issues without telling me you have mommy issues.
Is he pissed off his mom stopped breastfeeding him? Or what? I mean, like, I don't know.
point, he's just trying to experiment and find out what he really likes, because he didn't rape her after he killed her. He raped her before this time.
Yeah.
So at this point, he's just kind of experimenting where... I think at this point, he's just experimenting. That's...
Yeah, but didn't he experiment enough with the first one he cut off her nipples?
No, because he took those ones with him.
Yeah, but he would have... yeah?
Yeah, he took those with him.
I mean... Yeah, but he was... I don't know.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It really doesn't.
Like, his signature is all over the place. Like, he rapes them, yeah. He stabs them, yeah. He kills them, that's for sure. But he's either raping them after he kills them, or he's dismembering their bodies.
Yeah.
So he's kind of just all over the place. And in November of 91, Rawlings was charged with 5 counts of murder, and he was caught in Ocala, Florida, and was found guilty and sentenced to death in Florida State Prison on October 25th, 2006 for the killings of 5 college students. So he got the lethal injection on that one.
I wish they would have cut his nipples off.
Oh my God. He may have liked that too much. I know... Oh, we're going to hell. I know he hummed a tune before he died. Like, he was completely okay with that.
Yeah, he sang during his trial.
Oh, I forget what his final meal was. I should Google that real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I should Google that because, like, his final meal was something so... I forget what it is. Let me see. I forget. Oh, that's what it was. It said, Rollins requested lobster tail. He sang a gospel hymn, but made no statement immediately before his execution, which was witnessed by many of his victims' relatives. Rowling was executed by lethal injection at Florida State Prison in 2006 after the U.S. Supreme Court rejected a last-ditch appeal. Yeah, lobster tail and hummed gospel music. How the hell are you going to believe in God and then cut a bitch's nipples off? That's terrible.
Yeah.
She's not a bitch, but cut a female's nipples off. My word train of thought got ahead of me there. But, like, he was religious, but at the same time, he liked to play with dead things. I mean, he liked to play with their nipples. That's dead stuff.
I mean, yeah.
And then he's also the inspiration behind the Scream movies, which I thought was all made up, actually. Didn't even know they existed after they were written about a specific person. So that was kind of intriguing to learn.
Yeah. And that's weird, because that's one of my favorite scary movies.
I love those. Well, all but, like, the newer ones.
I love the first one.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 is my faves.
I love anything with Matthew Lillard in it.
Yeah. But honestly, it's just weird to think that it was incorporated off of an actual serial killer. Although the Scream... Yeah, no. I'm good. I just don't know why he just didn't kill his dad, because I feel like if he would have killed his dad, he probably would have never killed. Well, he may have.
Well, he was probably doing it to try to make his dad proud.
Or prove a point.
Yeah, in some sort of sick way.
Or prove a point. You know, you said I was a disgusting individual. Let me show you how disgusting I can really be. Type situation. Yeah. So, I just don't know how a police officer could be so hateful and then put the badge on every single day and go to work and save lives, but manage to ruin his own family.
Could you imagine if his dad's one of the cops that had to arrest him?
Oh, he definitely left his daddy a reputation, that's for sure.
Could you imagine him sitting in the back of the police car?
I did it, Daddy, I did it. I'm important now. Aren't you proud of me?
I'm going to be well known as the dude who cuts off nipples.
Oh, man. And gets off to dead bodies. I mean, it's a perfect combination. Sadly, though, he had a really good singing voice.
He really did.
He had a lot of potential, and he chose to go left instead of right.
There's a couple killers that I've looked into for episodes that I've wanted to do, and a bunch of them can sing and talented.
And they chose to carve people for a living. I
mean, if they got away with it, it would make good music. We're gonna have to cut that and actually cut it. That kind of crossed the line.
Well, it's not any worse than what I was saying, but this guy, man, he was smart. Air Force, good voice, but sadly, the drinking, the drugs, he
could have been something if he wasn't psycho.
Right. I can't say that his dad and mom are all the blame, because at one point he was a big boy and could make his own decisions. But I do think that his childhood did mold him into the person that he was.
Oh, of course it did.
Because even at the very end, he knew he was guilty, but in all the interviews, he held it with grace. He didn't flinch. He didn't cry. He didn't pussy out. He was yeah, I did it. It is what it is.
Right.
You know. He didn't try to hide it. And had he not have been... Because in between these strings of murders, after he killed the final victim... He actually started going back into committing robberies. That's how they caught him. He had a fascination with putting the fear into people.
Yeah. So the fear that his dad had put
right,
into him.
It goes back to his childhood where, he was always told, oh, you're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to be good enough. You weren't even supposed to be born. Which, how the hell are you going to marry a woman back in those days? And if you didn't want kids, why the hell didn't you wrap your willy to begin with?
Right.
You can't be that naive and say, hey, I'm going to be careless and she's not going to get pregnant. Because back in those days... that's all you did was create babies and and go on about life. So if he didn't want kids, he should have never got married and stuck with his hand.
Yeah.
I don't like the dad for the simple fact that he contributed to a lot of Danny's issues, but Danny also acted on those impulses.
And while the mom was being physically and mentally abused, she didn't stick up for him neither.
I mean, no. I mean, I can tell you right now, if anybody looked at my kid and ever spoke out of line, like, I don't care who it is, I will beat the fuck clear out of them.
Absolutely.
Like, there's even times where, you know, David will be addressing one of them, and it's not the way you address it, it's the tone of how you address it. And I'll look at him and be like, I think you ought to find a different tone. And he knows I'm not playing because I will straight judo chop him in the throat. Like, I don't even care. Like, how as a mom can you stand by and just let a man belittle your child? Like, you want to talk to me any type of way? That's fine. We can talk in private.
Right.
But, like, you belittle my child in front of me and... it's grease.
There's going to be issues.
It's grit ball time. We're going to play some grit ball. That's what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
Come on into the kitchen. You want to play Russian roulette with the person that cooks your food. Like, let's go. So, like, she contributed.
End up on the next episode of Snap.
Right. But as a mom, I wouldn't let anyone belittle my children. But also... I think regardless of the situation that Danny grew up in, I think he would have always had some type of impulse. I don't know if he would have taken his rage.
He might have had the impulse, but I don't think he would have acted on it.
I don't know. I think he would have, but I don't think he would have targeted and murdered. I think he would have did like petty crimes just because he had a thrill for the petty crimes.
Right.
And I guess armed robbery is really not petty, but he had a thrill for it. So, like, I don't know. I just don't like his dad. His mom was in a typical situation where she would gather the boys and then leave, but would always fall back into the same pattern and go back. So, like, at the same time, mom kind of contributed to that pattern as well. And we could get into the debate if serial killers are born or if they're made. I think at the end of the day, I think it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
We have so many genes and genetics that one mishap and you could literally just... Because, I mean, no sane person just wakes up one day and says, hey, I want to try human flesh because that's just nasty. Or, hey, I want to see... I'd rather have sex with dead people than alive people. Like, that's really nasty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just can't get over the dead part. I really can't.
I can't fathom how people can look at a deceased body and just think, oh yeah.
You look hot.
You look hot. Like...
See, I'm not trying to degrade
and I mean, that sounds,
that
sounds very insensitive, but
at the same time, like, you just...
I mean, I don't think there's any other way to word it.
I mean, there probably is. We're just not properly educated to really put those words in their perspective.
We are from Ohio, so...
Well, that's fucked up. I mean, it's true, though. We are from Ohio. Expectations are not very high.
No, not at all.
I mean...
Not at all.
Physically, expectations are not very, very high. And then the cutting of the nipples.
Yeah, that
And
is.
then the dismemberment of the bodies.
That's another thing that I cannot get past, the nipples. Why?
Probably because we have nipples.
I mean, nipples are so ugly.
That indeed they are, but
I mean,
for us women who have to constantly look at them on the day-to-day basis, they're very ugly, but...
I mean, out of every other part of the body, you choose nipples?
Well, it's not like he could cut her... Well, I mean, he could have cut her bottom half off, but, I mean, it would have decayed quicker, you would think.
I mean, he could have, like...
Earlobes, scalped her.
Yeah. I mean,
Clearly Clearly it was sexually motivated, you would think. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
It was a sexually motivated situation, but I don't know. I don't like the guy for many reasons. And the fact that he was okay to die just kind of pisses me off a little bit too, because I wanted him to cry.
I know.
I wanted him to feel I wanted him to feel like, sorry, like, no, I didn't. Just kill me already.
I have some sort of remorse. I mean, and he didn't have any remorse at all.
Why have remorse when, like, I don't think after his divorce, I think, like, he turned his humanity switch off, which I don't think he really ever had one,
right.
But I think he tried to be normal, but he didn't know how to be a husband.
Well, and see, his
dad, or a father.
Well, his dad treated him like shit, and then his wife walked out on him.
And then mommy issues.
And then on top of that, mommy issues. So he was just getting fucked all the way around. I mean,
yeah, and
that doesn't give him the right to kill people and do the stuff he did.
But I feel like his anger shouldn't have been towards women, unless I feel like it should have been more towards men, but unless he targeted women because his mom didn't protect him.
That's what I was going to say. It's probably because his mom didn't stand up for him. And as you can see, when he killed the two men, he took a lot of anger out on them. He stabbed the one.
And then the 8-year-old little boy, like, why he beat him?
Witness.
True, but it wasn't like at that point he would have been in a mugshot, so they could have picked him out. Because he committed armed robbery.
Well, and he probably seen himself in that little boy too.
And snapped, yeah. Mm-hmm. But he didn't get tried.
I mean, and this is all speculation. This is just us talking.
Oh yeah, don't take us serious.
I mean,
we're out here giving advice to serial killers every other day, so
unintentionally, it's just the way it comes out.
Yeah, don't take anything we say serious. Now he just kind of had a thing for a certain type of women. He didn't like them young, but he didn't like them old. Well, I guess, they were young, because he was like, what, 30, 50, 30s or 50s
mm-hmm.
when he started the college situation.
So they would have been around his mom's age when she had him.
Right, yeah. And I think the victims mimicked either, don't quote me, but I think they mimicked his wife. Like the brown hair, petite, brown eyes. So, like, rejection there. But it just pissed off because he didn't even cry when he got killed.
I know.
Like, please don't kill me. He was like, just take me, I did it.
I think at that time he was just done, though. I mean, he was busted, so there was no need in...
He definitely didn't cower out of it. I'll give him those props. Ugh. But, you know how it is.
Yeah.
But that is a wrap on this week's episode. Once again, I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Heather.
Make sure you like and subscribe. We are over on Spotify, YouTube, Insta, Facebook, and we should have the TikTok up and running by the time this episode airs. So, make sure you show some support.
And we're on Audible as well.
Oh, yeah, we're on Audible. We're on Audible, too.
We always forget about Audible.
It's just not something I think about. No, I'm just kidding. I really don't think about it. It is what it is. But just remember that there are new episodes Sunday. Bye.